My girlfriend looked me in the eye and told me to choose her or the job that was securing my entire future. Not let's figure this out. Not can we compromise. Just a line in the sand. And the worst part? I didn't hesitate. I chose the job. And just like that she was gone. Now everyone's telling me I picked money over love. That I walked away from someone who just wanted me to be there. But what they don't see is everything I already sacrificed to make that relationship work. So now I need to know, did I make the only logical choice? Or did I just throw away something real for a life that might not even matter in the end? I'm 26. And for the past few years I've been working on an oil rig in the North Sea. It's the kind of job most people only hear about and immediately say, yeah, I could never do that. And honestly, I get it. Because it's not just a job. It's waking up every day surrounded by nothing but steel wind and cold gray water stretching out in every direction. No city lights. No noise. Just the constant hum of machinery and the kind of silence that makes you feel small if you think about it too long. The hours are brutal. 12-hour shifts, sometimes longer if something goes wrong. Your body gets used to it, but your mind, that's a different story. You're tired all the time and there's no real escape from it. Work, eat, sleep, repeat. And the conditions? Let's just say you don't forget them. Freezing winds, rough seas, everything slightly damp no matter what you do. It's not comfortable. It's not glamorous. But it pays. Really well. Better than anything I could ever get back home. And not just in a nice paycheck kind of way, but in a way that actually changes your life if you're smart about it. Savings. Investments. Opportunities. A future. And for someone like me, that matters more than anything. Because growing up I didn't have stability. Money was always tight. Plans never felt certain. Everything always felt like it could fall apart at any moment. So when I landed this job, it wasn't just work. It was security. It was proof that I wasn't going to live that same kind of life forever. The rotation makes it manageable. 2 weeks out there completely cut off from normal life. And then 4 full weeks back home. And when I'm home, I'm really home. No late nights at the office. No emails. No distractions. Just time. Time to relax. Time to live. Time to be present with the people I care about. Honestly, for a long time it felt like the perfect balance. Like I had figured something out that most people don't. Work hard when it matters. Then come back and actually enjoy life. At least that's what I thought. I met my girlfriend about 1.5 years ago. It wasn't anything dramatic. No big moment. No instant spark where everything just clicked. It started simple, almost accidentally. We met through mutual friends at a small get-together. Nothing fancy, just a few people, music in the background, drinks on the table. I almost didn't go that night actually. But I did. And she was there. She was 21 at the time. A little younger than me, but it didn't really feel like it when we started talking. She was easy to talk to. The kind of person who makes conversations feel natural, like you're not trying to impress each other, you're just there. She was funny without trying too hard. Warm but not overly emotional. And she had this way of looking at you when you spoke like she was actually listening, not just waiting for her turn to talk. We ended up talking most of the night, and when I left I remember thinking, yeah, I want to see her again. In the beginning, everything felt effortless. We'd go out, stay and talk for hours about nothing and everything. There was no pressure. No expectations. Just connection. And from day one she knew about my job. I told her straight up, I work offshore. I'm gone for weeks at a time, it's not a typical 9-to-5 life, and she didn't hesitate. If anything, she seemed impressed. She told me she admired the discipline it took. That most people wouldn't be able to handle that kind of work. She said she liked that I had direction, that I was building something real instead of just drifting. And I won't lie, hearing that meant a lot to me. Because that job wasn't easy. But she made it feel like it mattered. Like it was something to be proud of. When I'd leave for my shifts, we'd text. Call when we could. Nothing overwhelming. Just enough to stay connected. And when I came back home, everything felt better. Like we had something to look forward to. We'd spend entire days together. No rush. No distractions. Just being around each other. And because of the distance, it almost made things more intense. More meaningful. Like every moment counted just a little bit more. Back then the space between us didn't feel like a problem. It felt like something we were managing together. Something temporary. Something that made what we had feel stronger. And maybe that's why I didn't see what was coming. Because when something starts that easy, you don't expect it to slowly turn into something that feels impossible to fix. But after a few months, something started to shift. Not all at once. Nothing dramatic. Just small changes. The kind you don't really notice at first. When I was out at sea, she started texting me more. At the beginning it was normal. Miss you. Wish you were here. Stuff like that. And honestly, I liked it. It felt good knowing she was thinking about me. But then it became more frequent. Longer messages. More emotional. She'd tell me how quiet the apartment felt without me. How she hated going to bed alone. How even little things like making dinner or watching TV just didn't feel the same. And I understood that. I really did, because I missed her too. Being out there, you feel it. That distance, that disconnect from normal life. So I tried to close the gap however I could. Every single day after my shift ended I called her. Didn't matter how exhausted I was. Didn't matter if I just wanted to crash and sleep. I called. And we'd talk. Sometimes for a few minutes. Sometimes for hours. About her day, my day, random things, serious things, anything to make it feel like we were still connected. Like the distance didn't matter. But over time the calls started to feel different. Less like something we both wanted and more like something she needed. There was this underlying tension. Like if I didn't call at the usual time she'd notice immediately. If I sounded tired she'd ask if something was wrong. If I got distracted for even a second she'd go quiet. Not angry. Not accusing. Just quiet. And somehow that felt worse. When I got back home I tried to make up for everything. I gave her all my time. No distractions. No half attention. If she wanted to go out, we went out. If she wanted to stay in, we stayed in. I made sure she never had to question where she stood when I was there. Because to me that was the trade-off. I'd disappear for 2 weeks but when I'm back I'm fully there. And for a while I thought that was enough. That we had found a way to make it work. But looking back now I think that's when the gap really started to grow. Because no matter how much I gave when I was home it didn't change how she felt when I was gone. And little by little that feeling started turning into something heavier. Something harder to fix. The calls started feeling different. At some point they stopped feeling like something we both looked forward to. And started feeling like something I had to get right. In the beginning we'd just talk. Laugh. Tell stories. Share random things about our day. But slowly the tone shifted. It became less about what was happening and more about how she was feeling. And most of the time she wasn't okay. She needed reassurance. Constantly. Not just a miss you or love you. But something deeper. Something that made her feel secure even when I wasn't there. She'd ask questions like, do you ever think about just staying home? And I'd pause. Not because I didn't have an answer but because I knew what she really meant. She wasn't asking casually. She was testing something. Hoping for something. Other times it was more direct. Do you even like being out there more than being with me? And I'd laugh it off at first. Try to keep things light. Come on, you know that's not true. I'm doing this for us. For our future. And I meant it. I really did. But the more she asked the less those answers seemed to work. It was like every reassurance only lasted a little while before she needed another one. And another. And another. I started noticing small things. If I called a little later than usual she'd sound off. Not angry. Just distant. Like she'd been waiting. Thinking. Overanalyzing. If I sounded tired she'd ask if I even wanted to talk. If I mentioned work she'd go quiet like she didn't want to hear about the place that was taking me away from her. And the conversations started getting heavier. Less about connection, more about tension. More about what was missing. More about the distance itself. There were moments where it felt like no matter what I said it wasn't going to fix how she felt. Like I was trying to fill a space that just kept getting bigger. And that's when it really hit me. This wasn't just her missing me anymore. It wasn't just loneliness. It was something deeper. Something that didn't go away with calls or time together or reassurance. It was the fact that I wasn't there. And no matter what I did that part wasn't going to change. And I think deep down she had already started realizing that. Even if she hadn't said it yet. When I came back home the next time I could tell something was off almost immediately. It wasn't obvious. She still hugged me. Still smiled. But it felt different. Like there was something sitting just beneath the surface waiting. We didn't even make it a full day before it came out. We were sitting in the apartment, nothing special, just a quiet evening. And she suddenly said, I don't think I can do this anymore. Just like that. No build-up. No warning. I remember just looking at her trying to figure out what she meant. What do you mean? She didn't hesitate. I can't keep doing this waiting for you to come back, counting days feeling like I'm alone half the time. Her voice wasn't angry. If anything, it sounded tired. Like she had been holding this in for a while. I tried to stay calm. Tired of what exactly? She looked at me and said, of being in a relationship with someone who isn't here. That one hit. Because I knew what she meant. She went on. Those 2 weeks, they don't feel like 2 weeks to me. They feel longer. Everything feels empty. I come home and you're not there. I go to sleep and it's just quiet. She paused for a second then added, and calling you isn't the same. It's not. I nodded slowly. I get that. I really do. And I meant it. I miss you too when I'm out there. But she shook her head. It's not the same for you. That's when I started trying to fix it. Like I always did. Okay, then let's figure something out. We can talk more. I can call early or stay on longer. We can plan more things when I'm back. Trips, weekends, anything. They'll make sure you never feel like you're just waiting for me. But even as I was saying it, I could see it in her face. It wasn't landing. I don't need more calls, she said quietly. I don't need more plans. She looked straight at me. I need you here. There it was. Simple. Clear. And impossible. I tried one more time. You have your friends. You can go out, stay busy, it might help. I don't want to just distract myself, she replied. I don't want to build a life around coping with you being gone. That was the moment it really sank in. This wasn't something I could adjust. It wasn't about effort. It wasn't about communication. It wasn't even about understanding each other better. To her, the problem wasn't how she felt when I was gone. The problem was that I was gone at all. And no matter how much I tried to work around it, that part wasn't going to change. And then one night everything finally broke. We were sitting across from each other. No TV. No music. Just silence. The kind of silence that feels heavy, like something is about to happen. I remember noticing how calm she looked. Not upset. Not emotional. Just decided. She took a breath and said it. If you want this relationship to work, you need to leave that job. For a second I thought I misheard her. Like my brain just didn't process it properly. So I just sat there. Staring at her. Waiting for her to say something else. Clarify. Walk it back. But she didn't. No discussion. No, maybe we can figure something out. No middle ground. Just a line. And I was standing on one side of it. I felt this strange mix of disbelief and frustration building in my chest, because this wasn't just a random job. This wasn't something I could just walk away from and replace next week. This was everything I had been working toward. Every long shift. Every night away from home. Every sacrifice I had made to get here. I leaned back slightly, trying to steady myself. Are you serious? My voice sounded calmer than I felt, but inside everything was starting to tighten. She nodded. No hesitation. No doubt. I can't keep living like this, she said. I don't want a relationship where I feel alone half the time. I ran a hand through my hair, exhaling slowly. You knew what this was from the beginning. I didn't hide anything from you. I thought I could handle it, she said. I was wrong. That hit harder than I expected. Because there was no anger in her voice. No accusation. Just truth. I looked down for a second. Trying to think. Trying to find something, anything that could bridge the gap between us. But there wasn't anything left to say. Not really. Because we had already had every version of this conversation. Just not like this. Not this final. You're asking me to give up my career, I said quietly. My future. For what? To stay here and take some local job that won't even come close to what I have now? I'm asking you to choose me, she replied. Her voice didn't rise. Didn't shake. And somehow that made it worse. I looked at her again, really looked at her. And for a moment I could see it. What she wanted. A life where I was there every day. Where she didn't have to count weeks. Where she didn't feel like she was constantly waiting for me to come back. And part of me understood that. Part of me even wanted that. But another part of me, the part that remembered where I came from. The part that had fought for stability. For something solid. For a future that wasn't uncertain, that part of me knew I couldn't give this up. Not for anyone. The room went quiet again. No movement, no sound. Just the weight of a decision that couldn't be undone. And in that moment I realized something. This wasn't really a conversation anymore. It was a choice. And no matter what I picked, something was going to end. That's when it became clear. There wasn't anything left to figure out. No compromise hiding somewhere we hadn't thought of. No middle ground we just hadn't reached yet. Because she wasn't asking me to try harder. She wasn't asking for more time, more attention, more effort. She was asking for a completely different life. And I knew I couldn't give her that. I took a slow breath. Looked at her. And for a moment I almost wished she'd say something. Anything. Make it easier. But she didn't. She just waited. So I said it. No. Quiet. Simple. Final. I could feel something shift in the room the second the word left my mouth. Not anger. Not even sadness at first. Just distance. Like whatever we had snapped. She held my gaze for a second longer. And then she nodded. Not dramatically. Not emotionally. Just acceptance. Then I guess we're done. There was no argument. No raised voices. No last attempt to fix anything. Just that one sentence. And the silence that followed it. I didn't try to stop her. I didn't chase after her words. Because deep down I knew this was where it had been heading for a while. We just hadn't said it out loud yet. She stood up. Grabbed her things. Moved around the room like she had already detached herself from it. From me. And I just sat there, watching it happen. Not because I didn't care, but because I knew there was nothing I could say that would change anything. No apology would be enough. No explanation would make this make sense to her. Because in her mind I had already made my choice. And maybe she was right. The door closed behind her. Soft. Almost quiet. But somehow it felt louder than anything we had said to each other. And just like that it was over. The strange part is it didn't hit me right away. After she left I just sat there for a while. In the same spot. Same position. Like if I didn't move maybe it wouldn't feel real. But it wasn't sadness. Not yet. It was more like emptiness. Like everything had just gone quiet all at once. At first I told myself I had made the right decision. The logical decision. I mean, how could I not? I chose my career. My stability. My future. Everything I had worked for. That made sense. It had to make sense. But then the silence started to settle in. Not just in the room, but everywhere. No messages. No random miss you texts during the day. No calls at night. No one asking how my shift went. No one waiting for me to come back. And that's when it started. The thinking. The replaying, all the little moments I brushed off before they came back. Her saying she felt alone. Her telling me the apartment felt empty without me. The way her voice sounded on the phone sometimes like she was trying not to say too much. And then my own voice. In my head, repeating the same thing I always told myself. That's something she needs to work through. At the time it felt reasonable. Even fair. I was doing everything I could. Calling her every day. Spending all my time with her when I was home. Trying to be present in the only way I knew how. But now sitting there in that silence it started to feel different. Was I too cold? Was I too focused on being right, on being practical, on doing what made sense on paper, that I stopped seeing what she actually needed? Because maybe for her this was never about effort. It was about presence. And that's the one thing I never really gave her. And I keep going back to that thought over and over again. Trying to justify it. Trying to balance it out. Because at the same time I know I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't lie to her. I didn't hide anything. I didn't neglect her. I tried. I really did. But sometimes trying isn't the same as giving someone what they need. And maybe that's the part that bothers me the most. Not that I chose my job. But that I knew deep down there were things she needed from me that I was never going to be willing to give. And maybe that's the real reason it ended. I still believe I made the smart decision. I mean, this job isn't just a paycheck. It's everything I worked for. It's stability. It's security. It's the one thing in my life that actually feels certain. And walking away from that would have meant risking everything for something that wasn't guaranteed to last. At least that's what I keep telling myself. But the truth is it's not that simple. Because when things get quiet, when I'm alone with my thoughts, there's this part of me that keeps asking the same question. Over and over again. Did I really choose my future? Or did I just choose the easier path for myself? Because yeah, she asked for something big. Something I couldn't give. But at the same time, she wasn't asking for money. Or comfort. Or anything material. She was asking for me. My presence. My time. My life in the same place as hers. And I said no. So now I'm stuck somewhere in between. Knowing I made the logical choice but still wondering if it was the right one. Because maybe this wasn't about choosing between love and a job. Maybe it was about what kind of life I actually want. And what I'm willing to sacrifice to get it. So now I'm asking you, was I right to protect my future? Or did I walk away from someone who was only asking to feel like she wasn't alone?